So, hello, welcome. Lee, good V, Mark, hello, nice to see you. Giftswerk, nice to see you too. I hope you're all doing well. Dr. Fred, nice to see you. Aviator, good Abend. Danny, hello, and Washi, same to Captain Mitchell, hello. Right, welcome to today's stream, and some more testing. So I was gonna, as promised, try some failures in the new Tollis A320 Neo. And hey Ari, moin moin. Terrain ahead. Hey, yeah, doing well. How are you? This is actually available on the .org, so explain.org forums. They haven't got many liveries out yet, but there are a couple. I know MCK, yeah, I saw that as well. And I immediately thought of you, MCK, saying, if MCK sees that, Zulu Quebec, he's going to be raging. Well, there you go. MCK, I hope you're doing well. Do you think they will upgrade the 390, 321 and bring them up to Neo standards? You mean with the FMS and so on, or failure menus and that sort of stuff? Hey, Spike, how you doing? You trying to fix the FS Labs? What's broken with it? I guess it's more like maybe broken with P3D. Yeah, so I today, I mean, Mark was clever enough to quickly put one together why they released the A320 today, because it's March 20th, right? So kind of a nice pun to it, you know, releasing it today. But to my absolute astonishment, I picked up some of the, well, you can say shitstorm on the forums, on pretty much every server, every kind of forum you looked at, and people really going absolutely mad about the pricing. Now, let this be said. Hey, Fabio. I'm in no way affiliated with Toliss. I am not getting any money from them. I'm not profiting. If they sell 1 copy or 1 million copy, I don't profit in any way. The only thing that I had been given is a free copy to preview and showcase. And one of the things that really got me going today was the shitstorm actually hitting us content creators, you know, about how dare we actually stream this expensive, in their view, expensive add-on, and, you know, try to convince people to buy this. No, I've always made it very, very clear that I don't, whatever add-on is out there, I don't convince anybody to buy it. I wouldn't say you have to buy this. I would say it's a good add-on. It's a solid add-on. It's a very nice add-on. It's a bad add-on, but I will not say you need to buy this. Right? You're all grown-ups, and you can decide on your own whether or not an add-on is worth it or not. The only thing me as a content creator that I can do is I can show you, especially if it's a 320 add-on, you know, what it has, what it offers. And then together with the community here, because we have some very knowledgeable people here in the community, you know, especially with the 320, you know, we can kind of figure out, you know, what the add-on is about. You know, how faulty is it in some areas, how does it behave, how the FPS, how are the textures, etc., etc., etc. Right? So we have a look at it, which is actually kind of a fair deal from the developers. Handing out these add-ons and not telling me. They did not say to me, you have to be positive about it. No, they just said, here's a copy, stream it if you like, make videos if you like, and, you know, have a go with it. And then, you know, I expect them to accept, you know, any negative comments that I do. I expect them to accept this, and they do. They have not pressured me in any ways to say anything positive about it. And I've made it clear that I know that a lot of people here, for example, are somewhat upset about the textures and, you know, things like fonts, and I get it. It's fine. And, you know, again, I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm just speaking for myself. and I don't personally. I notice it, but I don't get upset about it because I look for different things in a flight sim, and that doesn't really, kill my immersion. There's a lot of other things that that can do that very quickly, but these sort of texture things, yeah, it's something I would notice, but not get too upset about. Sounds, important thing, definitely. Sounds can definitely very quickly kill your immersion if they are really, really bad. But we've not really had any major issues with the sounds here as well, right? So what I'm going to do tonight, we are going to fly from Bremen, so my hometown, Bremen, to Nürnberg, simply because I have some good sceneries installed here in XP12. So, yeah, we'll have a look at it. Why don't you retain that mouse view, please? Hang on, let me just change that control panel. Enable temp maintain. There we go. So good. So yeah, and I get it. So don't get me wrong. I understand fully people criticizing the pricing. I when I saw the price, I was as well somewhat surprised. And there the critics will say, this is not a completely ground up new add-on. Right, so there's a lot of things that have already been in the 319 or 321 version, and they kind of ported things over. Just having a new kind of UI, with different colors doesn't really justify a higher price or full price. The same goes with well, the sounds are a bit different, aren't they? They did do some stuff there. But again, I get their argument saying that why should we pay such a high full price when a lot of things have actually just been ported over. I get that. I totally understand that. However, sorry, again, try to be grown up about it and just voice your criticism in a grown up manner. Don't start leashing out, to everything and everyone. If you don't approve of the price, and if you think, as a grown-up, normal thinking person, that it's not your kind of cup of tea, and you're not going to pay that price for it, yeah, that's your good, honest right. Because then you voice your or vote. You vote for the fact that you're not going to buy it because you say it's too expensive, and that will get the feedback directly to the developers. It's as simple as that. But you also have to accept this is the developer's property, right? This add-on, the developer has, put in time, effort, money into making it. And it's his or her goddamn right to put out a price tag out there, whatever they want. They could put $1,000 if they want. It's their property, all right? But you don't have to buy it. So don't get too upset about it. I sometimes read these comments, not on my Discord. My Discord was fairly benign today. But I read some comments somewhere else when I'm thinking like, good God, are they flight simmers sometimes? Do they just put their brain out somewhere, park it somewhere, and then go all out, shitstorming and not really thinking about anything, what they're posting? It's I don't know. Sometimes I wonder sometimes. Right, so yeah, and Captain Mitchell, again, I'm saying it. I've been honest about my opinion about this add-on, just like on every add-on that I showcase, and but when it comes to people asking me, is it worth the price? Then I will say I can't tell you that. I can't. Is it worth buying? No, I don't know. Right? I don't speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself. It's your money. It's your time. So please make up your own mind about whether to buy it. Yeah, MCK, I will. Sorry for the the rage here, or the rant. Yeah, sorry for the BB rant. But you see, these are the things sometimes I don't know. I just can't quite follow. And then
welcome aboard the Captain Black Box.
I'm a human being. Allow me to get upset about these things.
Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
And just in time for one of BB's rants.
I'm sorry, what do you mean? It doesn't happen that often, does it? Oh, God. I hope it doesn't happen that often. Clogon, thank you so much for the 49 months. Good in me, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the support, Clogon. But what we'll do today, guys, is, as I promised, we're going to do and fly, and we're going to try out some failures. And what I will do, I have a little neat app that I actually use for real-world training. Although, I will say immediately, it's an app that is limited to certain aircraft versions.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
And Zishke, hello to you as well. Thank you so much for the 21.
Hey at Black Box 711, don't get too upset, otherwise we will be stuck at Bremen. C-20A waits for a scenic departure out of Bremen, smile.
Thanks so much, Zishke. Yeah, I will try my very best to give you a beautiful scenic departure. And I mean, you know, it's not bad. Weather is all right. We're using XP12 Active Sky, so it's all right. It's all right. We'll do something nice. So I was going to talk about the add-on and the app that I have, and you can see here now. I hope I don't get in trouble for showcasing this live. But this is more for the professional kind of use. So it's an app. It's called Use Before Flight, and it gives you certain failures that you can simulate on your iPad with the key to ECAM procedures. So what I'm thinking of doing is just going through a couple of things today, and I can give you, for example, let's do engines. There we go. So engines, and if we do, for example, where's my? Let's do engines. So let's do engine 1, oil low pressure. So what it allows me to do is go through the procedure, just like I would do that in the real aircraft. So we'll do this today. So we'll do engine 1 low oil pressure. We'll do that in the approach, so we can do a single engine landing. Oh yeah, Bremen is lovely. I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lovely little city and has some lovely areas. So we'll do kind of, we'll do the failure in the Toliss, and we'll compare the ECAM with the app that I use for training. And so, for example, I can do, the procedure, thrust lever 1 idle, and then engine master 1 off. So confirm first of all, number 1 confirmed, and then switch that off. Then it'll jump to the next item, which is engine 1 shutdown. And we have to do all of the items just like we'll do in real life.
Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class?
Yeah, we'll compare the system displays with the
will be served. Thank you.
From the app with the Toliss, obviously, and that way we can see what the differences are. And we'll see. The interesting thing usually is the status page, because there will be a couple differences there. Now, I have to stress though that with this app covers only the EIS-1 IAE and the EIS-2 CFM1 and CFM enhanced meaning in their case I think with the new systems like the alternate braking on yellow or noticeable steering on yellow, that sort of stuff. So it doesn't stay. So MCK, it's a good question. I know I was interested as well, and they don't say They don't say what flight warning computer standard. At least I didn't find any reference. I know that they are stating the variants. So, for example, it'll say, EIS-1, IAE, CRT screens, old-style panel keyboard for coordinates, powered from green hydraulic system for the noticeable steering, RAT old-style, and they have EIS CFM2 and enhanced CFM. They don't have, and that's the thing, they don't have the Neo, all right? Hey, Lilienthal and Gipelo, nice for you to join. Welcome. Yeah, like I said, we'll do some stuff there and to compare because there are certain things that the developers claims. For example, they claim that they have 210 failures now modeled. But we can go through the complete list in a minute. Or during flight, so let's get going. And then, yeah, oh yeah, so MCK asked, how was Italy? Now, guys, I've always been a very big fan of Italy. And we were just south of Florence for a whole week. And we stayed at a little castle. And so we had our own little house on the premises of that castle. It's not a castle like, Windsor Castle or anything like that. Don't get too excited about it. It's a lovely little castle that was used for the residents, obviously, but also for keeping wine. So they had a huge wine cellar. So it was overlooking. It was on the top of quite a large hill and was overlooking the 1,500 hectares of land around it. And on that land, they had wine. What do you call it? The is it wine grapes or wine kind of the wine fields, and also they had lots of olive oil or olive tree farms there as well. So vineyards. Oh God, yeah, you're right. Good God, vineyards. My bad. Yeah, the vineyards. They looked lovely for one, and the olive tree plantations also looked absolutely spectacular. So the whole kind of mixture, and then with the lovely Tuscany, countryside, it was like a little bit like a dream. Because we kind of woke up and we got onto the porch and looked down into the valley, and we had absolutely bombastic weather. We had only one day with clouds and rain. The rest were sunny, blue skies, absolutely amazing. And then on top of that, so we went to Pisa, we went to Florence, we went hiking twice. Did pretty long hikes, went to San Gimignano, and I have to say it was a little bit like heaven. And on top of that, the food, the wine, man, it's just. So no need to say, I did put on, I think, about 2 pounds of weight in that week, no joke. So I'm actually going to be fasting this week, trying to get rid of that extra weight again. But what can I say? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What do you mean is that all? 2 pounds? You have to be on a surplus of 1,000 calories every day to put on 2 pounds in 1 week. So if I have, we went hiking. We did we were very active. And, truffle. Oh, I tell you, I had 2 meals that week that had truffle in it. Wow. Oh, and while we were, that's something that astonished me. We were hiking, and we got into a valley where there was lots of woodlands, so lots of trees, bushes, that sort of stuff. And then we saw signs, and normally when you see a sign in a certain language, you normally can at least, in some points, you can kind of translate it into your luggage, into your language. But the signs were really strange. And then so I actually, let's see if I find a picture of that. Yeah. So it was saying, raccolta di tartufi riservata. So, raccolta di tartufi riservata. It was a huge sign. And then suddenly there were hundreds of signs. Hundreds. I'm not joking. Hundreds of these signs. And it's about truffles. So in these areas, lots of truffles are growing in the ground. And yes, exactly. It says you're not allowed to go and pick the truffles. It's a private reserve, or it's a seal of area where you're not allowed to take out truffles. And it was a huge area, so quite surprised by that. Oh, and another thing. Has anybody ever come across wild pigs in real life? And no joke again. So I've made my experiences with shepherd dogs, for example, on a bicycle, which was scary. You're a hunter, Cloak1, right? Lovely. It's a boar. So wild boar. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, wild boar, obviously. So we were hiking, and suddenly I heard kind of grunting noises of these boars somewhere, and I was like, I told my wife, stop, be quiet for a second. And she said, what's the matter? I said, I'm hearing noises that sound like pig's noise or boar noises. Hey Dustin, hey. Exactly, Cloak on. My first thought was, and I said to my wife, is it breeding season right now? Like, are they having siblings? Because that's really the danger. If you get close to these little siblings, then you could be easily attacked by the how would you call the female? I mean, boar is right. Is it boar for females as well, or? Yeah, exactly. So the whole area, obviously, if you think so too. Okay, so if the whole area, is littered, or not littered, but is full of truffles. Exactly, Mark. And that was my thought. And I thought, I don't know why, but I felt extremely uncomfortable at that moment. So my wife, funny as she is, she kept pointing out these new tracks from boar, right? So these footprints from boar. She pointed them out to me all the time. I said, oh, look, there's another one. I said, stop it, right? It's no joke. These things are dangerous. All right? So, man, I don't know. I just... I was glad to move on and get out of that area because I thought, what a way to kind of get attacked. So Geeb, I know there's dogs that can smell the truffle, but of course normally it's pigs, or at least I don't know. So truffle hogs, like you say, that would look for these truffles, and the truffles are extremely expensive, right? They have a ridiculous price. No, so we tried MCK. The problem is I don't get any discount, or actually I can get discount on Air Dolomiti, but I don't get any infos on the booking numbers, and I don't get a confirmed ticket. So we actually flew via Bologna. Right, so let me go and fetch my flight plan here. Hey, Usain Bolt, how are you doing? Yeah, no. So we didn't fly to Florence. We went to Bologna, got the rent-a-car there, and no, I know. So no steep approach. Yeah, but it was an hour 10 minutes drive to our hotel, or the castle. So it wasn't that long. Oh, really? Just watched it. Fantastic. Thanks for the link, Clerk on. Lol. Trüffelschwein. Yeah, nice. Lovely. I'll leave that open there. Thank you. Right, so let's see. We got the DORDAS arrival. That's going to be Von Victor, and we'll do the Delta November 439 transition. So there we go. Yeah, so we had a lovely, lovely, lovely holiday. And the people are amazing there. The people are so lovely. Yeah, we had such a great time. Oh, and ice cream. Did I mention ice cream? Oh, man. I think that killed it for me, really, because I had so much ice cream. No joke. It was just amazing. Right. Let's stop talking about food for obvious reasons. Good. So we've done the init A page. That filled out automatically. Munich is the alternate. We've got level 370, fuel 4.8, which should theoretically give us about 15 minutes extra fuel and 49-minute flight time. So the auto fuel is a ton. That's fine. So we're just going to put 1 ton in there. Yeah, I think we did have a wonderful time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let's go find Bremen here. Wonderful. Right, we know that we can call up the performance data through the MCDU. Now, first of all, though, let me just check the weight and balance. So 165 passengers. We've got a zero fuel weight of 62.8. Yeah, and 29.3 CG zero fuel weight. That's correct, and the takeoff weight 67.4. So let's request the data there. Although I would go with flaps 2 actually, since it is a Neo. Hey Lilo, thoughts of Indybuilts doing an A380 versus the fly-by-wire A380? It's too early to say, really. I mean, so they would go with flaps 1. Right, then let me put flaps 2 in here. Let's try that. Hey Yaroslav, how you doing? I've been to Naples on kind of while I'm on a rotation, but I've not been there on holiday, so I can't really say much. But I know that it's a lovely, interesting area as well. Very historic. Try it again. Yeah, that's true, MCK. Yeah, that's also a good point. So the initial turn on that LR 3 Zulu departure is very sharp. So climb 4,000. Yeah, so that turn there, initial turn. So but if you're in the turn, yeah, it would limit to 15 degrees in the case of engine failure below the maneuvering speed. But I think it just goes straight. There's not many obstacles, just straight ahead. That's a tower near Gandakasee. Hey Yoda, how you doing? Hope everything's going well. Right, let me just insert that real quickly. See if that changes. If not, we'll do the takeoff performance here. So we've got runway 20. No, it doesn't do it anymore. Yeah, I know that. I know that you get the flex value by pressing that, but I'm looking for the flaps 2 now, which is not doing anymore. It's kind of strange. Yeah, all right, we'll do that via the... So it's a full-length departure, 8 degrees, 1016. We'll do 1015 and 9 degrees. We are expecting some rain showers. So let me have a look at the current weather. Well, it's dry at the moment. They did forecast some rain, but it's dry. Yeah, it is a short runway, so let's go calculate dry to get some good data. Anti-ice, well, it could have some anti-ice later, broke to force, get at 1900. Yeah, we'll do engine anti-ice on. Takeoff weight is 67.4 later on, so let's put 0.5, CG, flex, config 2, air conditioning off, compute. All right, so these are values we get by doing it through the EFB. So flaps 2, we'll do that up 0.3, full length, flex temperature is 74. And engine out acceleration is going to be 1600. And it's going to be NDP 2, so 1020. 1020. Ja, Dustin, dir auch einen schönen Flug. They didn't put in the Neo in the title, didn't I? Okay. I thought, at least on the YouTube side... Yeah, so you're saying bold, exactly. And I like the fact that you are handling this like a grown-up, you know, in a normal manner. You say, right, I've seen some streams, some videos, yeah, I don't see, any major differences, improvements, new features that for me justifies that price tag. And so, yeah, you'll pass on this one. Perfectly good. That is perfectly fine. That's how I expect people to handle this kind of thing, right? And not go shitstorming, and in the worst kind of way. And yeah, I've seen some bad stuff today, so there we go. 35, 35, 38, 5000 transition, 74. That's all good. Secondary copy active. We'll do a return plan. I've also mentioned the last time I was streaming it. I've mentioned that it's not so much the aircraft add-on itself. So I don't know if I had already A319, actually I do, and 321, and if I didn't have the option to fly shared flight, so with the new shared flight app that's hopefully releasing soon, then I would have probably passed on, getting the 320NEO as well. But for me, one of the big highlights is the option to fly the Neo in shared flight. And I will test it this week. Okay, nice, nicely, wonderful. Yeah. So we're going to take Bremen 27. Yeah. So I have different kind of expectations and you know, preferences when it comes to these add-ons. So that's it. That's all I want to do for now. So we've prepared everything. APU's available. Let's do that. The first thing we're going to try and do is the following. I want to do a start fault. So we'll add a new fault. It'll be engine 2. We'll do, let's see what else I have. Oh, I'm trying to do a similar thing on the use before flight app. So engines. So we can do a EGT over limit. So that would be hot start. We can do a hung start, which I have a hot start here. We have, what else do we have? We have start fail. I think that's the ignition failure. But let's do a hot start. So we'll arm that now. So get rid of that. Ground power is off. Good. So let's do a quick briefing. So 320 Neo, technically no issues, and departing runway 27 at Bremen, departure route Airline 3 Zulu. Initial climb 4,000 feet. The sector for us today is 2,100 feet all around. And the extra fuel, 600 kilograms, 15 minutes. Here it says 18 minutes, which is correct. 18 minutes more or less in Nürnberg. Taxi out hotspots. Let's have a look here at the ground chart. Airport. So we're going to taxi out, pushback to the face southeast, Charlie Foxtrot, and then it'll be Charlie Foxtrot, Cat 2 holding point, runway 27. Hotspots, not really. Engine out is just straight ahead, follow the blue dashed line, acceleration is in 1,600 feet. Just need to check my messages. All right, all good. So 1,600 feet engine acceleration, cleanup, engine secured, we'll climb 3,000 feet, and once we're past 2,100, left turn, downwind radar vectors for the ILS approach to 7. Now, in real life, what I would do, because we are, how heavy are we? Max landing weight, it says on the flight plan 67.4. Yeah, that seems about right. So we are pretty much at max landing weight when we return. So I would definitely already calculate let's put this at a realistic 767.3 landing full. Brake medium. See how that works. Reverse. Let's put that to off compute. Yeah, so we can see that even with that weight, it's fine. So order brake medium still gives us. Yeah, it's actually counting the stopway into the calculation, which isn't correctly, or actually shouldn't be correct. It should be 2,000 something meters for landing distance. Oh, disregard. Oh, there we go. I didn't realize it would do that already. So we do this at Bremen. Oh, I can't change that. I can't manually change the... Oh, yeah, I can. There we go. So now compute... Yeah, but again, it's taken in the stopway as a landing distance available part, which should be... It should be doing that. So 2,000 meters. So the margin is only about 500, 400 meters, but still, we can still land here. That's fine. Good. Nothing non-standard. Threats, well, heavy aircraft. But apart from that, no major threats. So cockpit preparation checklist. Gear pins covers removed. Fuel quantity is 4,820 kilograms balanced. Seat belts are on. ADIRS, NAF, and bar roll ref is QNH 1016 checked. Cockpit preparation checklist completed. Before start checklist. Parking brake is set. Takeoff speed thrust 135, 135, 138, flex 74. Windows closed. Doors closed. Beacon is on, and that's the before start checklist completed. Oh, hang on, I've got something else, guys. Because there are people obviously wondering about dual cooling, and I have, of course, I've prepared something. Right, there we go. So, so the reason, yeah, thanks for MCK for the call up there. So the reason why we need a cooling, isn't it? Oh, dual cool. Hang on, I think it's just dual cool. Yeah, we do MCK dual cool. Try that. So, let's look at the quick history of these engines. So, there have always been, thank you much MCK, there have always been engines, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think there may have even been some turboprop, or not turboprop, but some rotor engines, piston engines that had a issue with bowed rotors. But obviously, it really, for me, it's just, I came across this issue first of all through the A321 IAE engines. They always have a 30-second cranking. Yeah, exactly, Swordfly. Yeah, the Concorde, very good point. The Concorde had another issue as well regarding bowed rotor and needing a dry crank to cool the inner parts of the engine and straighten out that bowed rotor condition. So, over the years, new engines have become bigger and bigger, and so there was a requirement to save as much as possible on the weight of the engine. Yeah, the debowing, exactly. So the new designs help to reduce required shaft thicknesses and so reduce the overall weight. However, since the shafts got thinner, it also meant that engines started to get more prone to the bowed rotor issue. The Pratt & Whitney 1000 series, so the Neo engine series, have had an even bigger issue with this because of the installed gearbox, which has a 3-to-1 ratio regarding the shaft speeds. So the fan rotor is downscaled by 3 compared to the high pressure shaft. So the faster spin has reduced less torque, and less torque means, of course, again, you need, or you can actually apply a thinner shaft to that high pressure gearbox and high pressure compressor and the fan section. So unfortunately, again, because they were able to save weight on making the shaft thinner, it increased the issue with the rotor bowing. And so when this issue came about, they had to install through the FARDEC a system where the FARDEC looks at certain conditions like let me just call up the second page here. Did I say it yet? Hold on. Dual cooling. Let me just call that up. Oh, I haven't got that here. Okay, so it'll look at things like the engine temperature when you switched off the engine. Then looks at the ambient temperature, so the outside temperature, and the time, the amount of time the engine was switched off. So the FADEC has a certain graph or certain data in it that will then determine the amount of required cranking or cooling. So when we switch on the engine master and the FADEC comes to life, because right now we can see the engine FADEC is powered off, we can force it on by selecting the maintenance FADEC ground power on. And then now we have the cooling requirement displayed. So quite often when you just, in a short transit of 45 minutes, let's say, you'll have a cooling time around about a minute 15, minute 20 in that region. And of course, and that meant at the beginning that the whole engine start procedure per engine could be up to 5 minutes. And so for both engines, starting them in sequence meant you would block any alleyway or any kind of position during pushback for 10 minutes. And so airlines were very unhappy about that. And so that's the reason why a dual cooling push button was installed. Now, the dual cooling is available under certain conditions. And so there's a graph there as well. For example, the engine oil temperature has to be above 15 degrees in order to use dual cooling. I see the Toliss didn't quite simulate that. So even though the oil temperature right now is 0 degrees, we will be able to do the dual cooling. But again, that's something, such detail, I would have been very surprised if they had implemented that. So the dual cooling means that you can cool both engines, so do the cranking at the same time. And we'll see that in a second when we do the pushback. But be remembered that we are going to have an issue. We're going to have an issue with a hot start. Yeah, let's try that. So they still don't calculate fuel to alternate. Sorry, which one, Peter? Which are you referring to? Do you mean the Toliss? They are. They are. I just changed that value from 800 kilograms to 1,000 because the FMS will calculate pretty much a straight distance if you don't insert any alternate routing. And so I manually enter the required from the OFP because the OFP actually does calculate the routing as well. So here got the alternate Munich, and that's the routing. So that value is based on that routing. Is there a metal item for starter valve in-up on the Neo? Let me have a look. Starter valve in-up. MEL start valve on the Neos. Yeah, it must be operative, it says. Yeah, so starter valve must be operative on the Neos. That's what I have. Good, we've done the checklist. Let's start the pushback then. So guys, again, I am going to simulate in tandem, the procedure that we're going to get here on the app used before flight, compared to what we have here. Parking brake is set. So let me put that there, so I have a nice comparison between the two. Yeah, it's strange, Yoda. I didn't know that that the Neos would have an issue with that. So all the other variants, apart from the Neos, you can actually do that manual start valve procedure, which we talked about. Oh yeah, you're right. The cooling is the problem. Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, the cooling is the problem. Yeah. Brakes released. Okay, so let's do that. Engine start. It says cooling. So we'll do dual cooling push button on. We check the fuel pumps are on, bleed is on. So engine 2 start, and again you'll see both start valves opening, and both of these N2 values going, here it goes up to 10. Normally it would be kind of fluctuating between 8 and 10. A 10-hour turnaround, lol. That's a long time. So once both of these cooling times have elapsed, the start valve on the engine where the starter master switch or the master switch is off will close, and then the in this case engine 2 will do and continue on the normal start procedure. So here we go. We are going to expect a hot end or an over limit with the EGT. So let me do the procedure here as well. Yeah, I can see the EGT rising very fast here. Over limit, and you see the far deck immediately cuts off the fuel flow. All right, message engine 2 start valve fault, and you see on the same thing on the app that I have. So let's compare the messages. So both cases it says engine 2 start fault, engine over or EGT over limit, and new start crank. Oh, sorry. On the app it says new start in progress, while on the Toliss it says auto crank in progress. So the auto crank means it's continuing the N2 here at about 32%, and it's trying another start. Oops. So it's trying again with a little bit less fuel normally, but again it's going over limit again, and now it's telling me to go engine master off. Exactly, MCK. So I'm just waiting for, here it tells me to switch off engine 2, which we'll do now. So master 2 is off. Yeah, but that's due to the starter motors, MCK, the limit. So let's just see. Yeah, and as you can see on the app, it says as well, engine master 2 off. So same thing. We'll switch that off. Come on. There we go. One difference I have found is that here on the Toliss, if you have a fault, normally you would see a fault indication in here, because the app shows that. So that's what we would normally see here. So there we go. We're going to put this back to norm. And then it will be time for maintenance. Also, the message should remain on the eCam. I've never flown the LEAP engines, Nizam. So as far as I understand, the LEAPs don't need cooling. They don't have that issue with the bowed rotor, but we have some experts here that... yeah, exactly. Yeah, watch for hung starts and hot starts. So you can see in the Airbus, the far deck will monitor a hot start, and it'll do the auto crank, blowing out that excess fuel, and then trying another restart if possible, with a lower fuel flow. And so that's quite neat. Right, it's not 100% correct to real life, I would say, but you know, it's a nice simulation regarding engine hot start. So let's do fault scenario reset. All is good. Right, let's try that again. To start. Hey Brennelt, moin, wie geht's dir?
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Duo Channel experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight infotainment will be served. Thank you.
Ivamo, thank you for 10 months for support. One start. I hope you're doing well, Ivamo, and thank you for your support. That's really, really kind. Welcome. Brennelt, yeah, I did send you some pictures from Florence, didn't I? I think so. Or was it Pisa, maybe? Thank you, Ivamo. That's really kind. Oh, yeah, I want to do one more thing for takeoff. Let me just see. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, why doesn't it work? Ah, okay. I don't know why, Brennelt. I don't know why it keeps resetting that. Let me just... Try that again. Right, there we go. So hopefully it works now, Brennelt. Okay, good. So we got good engine start 1 and 2. Let's do the after start flows. So that is done. That's the flight control check. Up, down, neutral, left. Right, neutral, full left, full right neutral. And then the after start checklist apron. Yes, should be dry. Anti-ice is off, not required. Ecom status is checked. Pitch trim should be about 29.7%, and rudder trim neutral after start checklist completed. I don't have any shaders, no, Brennell. That's all. That is all standard. Yeah, that's X-Plane. So I'll see if I can at some point add a shader program, break check. But right now, it's kind of late in the afternoon, Brennell. So I guess that's the reason for it. Good. Max. Let's do that one. Now, regarding engine warm-up, I did criticize the last time the very slow engine warm-up. So it is correct that sometimes when you after engine start, you start the chrono for the 5-minute warm-up time, and so any transit time greater than 2 hours, you would have to have 5 minutes warm-up time for the Neos. And normally that would be enough time for the engine oil to reach 52 plus degrees Celsius, because that's the limit, 52. So you wait with the takeoff config test until you reach the 52 at least. Now, that's something that I've told the developer as well, and they will change this. I'm pretty sure that you don't have 1 degree increments, so you have 5 degree increments on the engine oil temperature. So it should be 30, 35, 40, and so on. Yeah, exactly. So, Danny, the limit for taking the engines out of the idle power range, so we say normally it's 40%. All right, so in order to go above 40% power setting, you have 5-minute warm-up. For us, so Nizam, we have a procedure where we have to have the APU on for single engine taxi because of the problem if you lose electrical power, then you don't have any APU firefighting capability. Oh, sorry, not APU, but engine firefighting or indication available. So that's why we need to have the APU as a backup electric generator. But again, there may be a difference with the Neo, but we have kind of a joint procedure to simplify that. Tomorrow, Sim Update 12. Okay, nice, yeah. The sun is behind us, Brennell, right now, so... Yeah, I know. It shouldn't really reflect that way. I'm aware of that. But maybe Explain will change that at some point. So, yeah, you see the temperature rises very slowly. It's been more than 5 minutes now. Hey, forward, goody. So it should be, you know, above 52, so... Yeah, Agib, so I do the config test now. And it'll tell us that we have that. Interestingly enough, now, what I didn't know, if I clear that and go takeoff config test again, that message will not pop up again. Even if the temperature is below the threshold. I didn't know that. The logic prevents that for some reason. So that was kind of strange. But But yeah, normally what we do, we go takeoff config. If we didn't realize that the oil temperature is still below 52 degrees, yeah, we just leave that open. We don't cancel it. We leave that open because that way we'll know when the engine oil is okay, because that message will disappear. Hey Philip, how you doing? Brennelt, it has to be very cold, like minus 40 degrees, really, to have an issue with engine start. So normally we don't have any special procedure if it's very cold. Let's say minus 20. There isn't any special procedure for that. No. It will tell you though that what you could get on, I think it's the IAE engines. You may get a high oil pressure indication, a kind of advisory high oil pressure, because of the or the fact that the oil is very viscous, and so it needs time to heat up and get more fluid. There we go. So look, 52 degrees. Now we've reached the threshold for that caution. So we can go taxi checklist, flight controls checked, flap setting config 2, radar, predictive mission system is on and auto. Then we have engine mode selector normal and ECMA mode takeoff no blue, lineup clear takeoff. And the lineup checklist, we have takeoff runway 27 full length. TCAS, TARA, and the pack 1 and 2 are now off. Oh, well, in Siberia? Yeah, maybe. I guess in Siberia you could have an issue with the temperatures. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I say, you know, if you compare that, let's say, the Phoenix regarding cockpit textures, obviously, you know, the Phoenix is a lot better, no doubt. But for me, that's something that doesn't really kill my immersion. So, you know, good. Let's go. Oh, hang on. Hold on. Let's see if I can get my camera working. Hold on. There we go. Right, let's go. Manflex 74, SAS runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. It's 100 knots. Go on, rotate. Last flight, gear up. Nav. Thrust climb, out blue, auto thrusts. Flaps 1. Right, I should put the autopilot on, make it easy for me. Packs, yeah. Pack 1. Flap 0, speed check. Flap 0. Pack 2. Reaching 4,000, outstar. Paolo, hey, how you doing? Let's climb, what was it, 370. So we've got climb out blue, 37,000. Avamo active sky. Rain, temperature plus 11. Well, it's going to cool down, so I'm going to start using the engine anti-ice already. Right, set standard, standard cross check passing 5.9, checked. Is active sky worth it? I think yes. I think yeah, I think the weather simulation gets somewhat better, especially with visibility and so on. Yeah, Brennel, you're right, it is. Hey Andreas, how are you? Right, gonna break out the clouds. Very nice. So it's accelerating to the climb speed. I'm just gonna see if I can dial down the sim sounds just a tad. Yeah, there we go. All right. Hey, Continuum! Right, guys, so today... You're already awake! Oh my god, it's so early, isn't it? Blimey. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to fly, like I said, from here to Nürnberg, do some failures, And then the second flight is shared flight in Australia with Continuum. Looking forward to it. So we're going from Brisbane to Hamilton Island. Yeah, XP12 with the latest version, beta version for the Challenger 650. Well, we can change that. Let me just dial up the sounds of it. So, so the engine. Yeah, you can do all that stuff. So, you know, you can change those values. Mighty Morph, hey, is the flight deck of the Neo different? No, not much. So you will find, for example, dual cooling push button there. The pack flow switches may be a bit different. Sometimes you have, on the Neos, you have your foot warmer switches up on the air conditioning panel in the Neo. Then you may have a... oh, hang on, where's that gone? Backup speed scale? Where's that setting gone? Aircraft config. Yeah. So. What? Auto? No. Yes, there we go. So the backup speed switch here, that's reversible, so you can switch that backup speed scale on and off. Although that is an old method now. There is a new one. So digital buzz means that you will get a kind of simulated airspeed displayed, GPS altitude, and that makes it even easier to fly or keep the aircraft flying in its envelope. You think it's too bright through? Yeah, I guess what you could do, I don't know if that helps, but it does have sunglasses, right? So just like in real life, you can put on sunglasses if you want. Brennelt, it's a last resort, really. If you have issues with the airspeed indications, and you know you're totally confused about it, it kind of gives you the chance to select a backup speed indication, and that then relies on angle of attack, and that way it may help you to figure out which indications are wrong, which are right. Is Active Sky worth it? Yeah, so again, I think it is. It gives you also the option to insert historic weather. So you can do, under weather control, you can go and switch to historical weather. So let's say, 2 days ago there was a storm front coming in, or very high winds. You can switch back and do that, which I think is a very nice feature. So MCK, regarding the crossing the bleed, the cross bleed, so put that to shut manually during engine start. So when engine 2 has started, you can, let's go bleed. You can close that so that the bleed there from the APU is there for the engine start number 1, but the number 2 then is separated from the number 1 system, and so there you can actually then start pack 2 for the air conditioning. That's obviously very helpful in summertime, and Helps with, you know, cooling the cabin a lot quicker. That definitely helps. And I don't see a reason why you can't do that in Neos. I've not found anything on that. Yeah, so Jamie, yeah, there is. So I find whenever I'm using Active Sky, it does simulate the weather a little bit more consistent, especially like haze and ground fog and these sort of things. I find better. Yeah, Brennel. So the backup speed scale takes the value from your angle of attack indication. So it does take some ADR values. Angle of attack, it takes into account the flap setting. And then through these values, it will tell you if you're fast or slow or in the right speed, so the right angle of attack. You can also see on the altitude, it does take in the GPS altitude. And so the last 2 digits are actually crossed out. You shouldn't really be using that. It's a very crude indication, but still, you know, it helps with the... No, MCK, no, that's not the case. So both of these Pack 1 and Pack 2 air goes into the supply duct or distribution duct. I know you can regulate the cockpit temperature different to the cabin, but that's more how much hot air is mixed into that duct from the supply to the vents then. Oh yeah, that's a good point, MCK. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, those should be closed. Yeah. So let's try a electrical failure, shall we? Because these are the more complex ones you can have. So let's browse electrical. That's not it. No, that's the one. So let's have a look. What do we have? We have available. So let's check with here to Toliss. That fault scenarios. Add electrical. Yeah, sure. I'm trying not to kill the plane here. So let's go with a DC bus 1 fault. So let's try that. So, so on the right-hand side, you can see the display we would expect from a ECAM procedure trainer from the A320. But again, be aware, this is CFM version, not the Neo version, which they don't have yet, at least. So, but we can see it says ELEC DC bus 1 fault. Let me just have a look at the overhead panel to see if there's any indications on there. it gives the fault light in engine 1. Engine anti-ice, which is kind of strange, but there we go. Otherwise, I don't see any other indications being unusual. Okay, so it says blower override and extract override. Oh, and I'll check the bleed indication in the app in a minute. So we go up on here and we switch off the, or we switch the blower and the extract to override. So these are the actions for that. If I take the app here, we'll go here as well. So interestingly enough, so again, it could be a version with the Neo. It says avionics vent in the in-app system side here, not in the app. That's just a minor thing. Right, clear elec, clear, and then comes the status. So this will be the interesting part to compare. So status. So let's compare these two. So this is the Toliss. It says landing distance procedure apply, and I'm trying to think why. Oh, reverser 1. That's interesting. Okay, so interestingly enough, I would actually expect that to be correct. Yes, Krishu. It's used before flight.com. I think it's about £60 a year or something, or £55 a year. So it is available openly, yeah. So ACP3 is correct. ACAR's here, but not in the app. Then we got Captain static, standby static, correct. Left windshield heat, right, left window heat. Center tank pump. Cat 3 dual is same. Reverser 1. Ground cool is not here though. Brake system 1, yeah, brake system 1 is same, and pack 1 regulator is in here, but not in the app. But again, it's a fairly close close comparison. So I would say I would definitely say that's not bad with this failure. Right, that was a fairly simple failure there, I will admit, obviously.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel.
Hey, Chase-Nap, how you doing?
Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Happy flying.
Thank you much. Now I'm wondering about the... Oh, it's climbing, alright. Thank you much, Chase-Nap, for 17 months. Good God. That is such a long time. Chase-Nap, while you're here, have you had a chance to try, because I don't know if you got your hands on the Neo here yet, if you've been able to try the shared flight Neo. If not, we would like to try it on Thursday, Chase-Nap. Not on stream, but offline. Brady, well, that will be because of XP12 just being a bit different to XP11. So I think we're already way too high, correct? Progress 370 flight plan. Where's my top of descent? There we go. Oh, okay, no, disregard. Got 7 minutes to go to top descent. That's fine. Right, we've got some ortho scenery loading in, no problem. Oh, nice, JSnap. Hey, cool. So we'll get in contact with you before Thursday, JSnap, because again... Brennel, yes, the app is... So again, the app is... It's an official training app, Brennel. So they are selling it to flight schools to train with it. So with the version... So with the version that you have selected in the app, right, you can rest assured that the procedures will be, pretty accurate. There may be some minor differences to the newest flight warning computer standards, but overall, I don't see any bigger. JSTEP, absolutely. I've deinstalled XP 11. Sorry, Lee. I needed to make some space on the hard drive, so I got rid of XP 11, and because we also have active Sky now for XP 12. That's one thing I was waiting for, and so now, yeah, that's. Let me go fetch the weather real quickly. AOC menu, weather ATIS, METAR. Here comes the weather. So what do I want to do next? Let's do do we have flight controls? Anything in the flight controls? Let's see if there's anything fascinating about flight controls here. Flight controls. Thank you very much, MCK. Take care. All the best. So let me try sec 1 and 2 faults. So sec 1 fail. And let's try flight control sec 2 fail. Now apply. So there we go. So we've got so let's do this. So let's have a look. That's a more complex failure again. So on the right-hand side, the app with the fairly accurate procedures for the CFM. But you can see flight control, sec 1 fault. It goes sec 1 off, then on. So I would do that first of all here. So it's a push button, 3 seconds to... Hey, Senshai! If unsuccessful, sec 1 off. Speed brake do not use. So we'll try that now in the app. So we go flight control. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Sec 1 off. 2, 3 on. If unsuccessful, off. And speed brake do not use. Right, clear flight control. And then the same thing for sec 2. So again, we would put sec 2 off, 3 seconds. Back on again. Now we're still normal law. Let me see that in the app. Yeah, app says also normal law. You see that here on the flight displays. That's normal. And then if unsuccessful, sec 2 off, put that off. Let's try that in the app. Off. Then on. Right, let's start a descend here. Descend, out blue, 120. If unsuccessful, off. There we go. So then clear flight controls, and then we have the status page. It says speed brake do not use and landing distance procedure apply. That's correct for both. And in-up systems, spoilers 3, 4, 5, sec 1 and 2, reverser 1. And in the app it says auto brakes. Again, there may be some minor differences between Neo and CFM. I don't know. But again, it's fairly accurate. So let's put that back on. Those back on. And I'm quickly going to put in the data here. So next phase, QNH. So Nürnberg, cavalcade 10 degrees. 10 temperature. The wind 200 at 3. And QNH is 1019. Let's fly. Oh yeah, someone was asking regarding localizer approach. Hey Hayden, how are you doing? So airports. Let's get the charts out for Nürnberg. So the chart says ILS Zulu or localizer Zulu. And on the bottom you will see a localizer minimum for just for the glide slope out. So let's pretend the airport NOTAM says glide slope is unreliable, do not use. So we're going to take that localizer approach. So let me enter. And here actually you do have a localizer approach to 8. But that should be Zulu. Right, so if you don't have a correct localizer approach in the FMS, which we don't have today for some reason, you can still select the ILS, right? Which is selected anyways. So we're doing the ILS Zulu to 8. And then we'll still fly the localizer approach by using that localizer button and using the localizer minimum. So that is possible. So 1450 for the minimums. We'll do a config full landing. And then for the landing performance, we'll put Nürnberg again. Wind is a bit much, so let me put 200 at 3. Temperature should be 10. QNH is going to be 1019. We'll take runway. It said cavalcade, didn't it? Yeah, so runway will be dry. So we'll put dry. We don't need anti-eyes. Landing weight. So let's have a look right now. We are at 65.8. So let's put 65.7. There we go. That's fine. Full air conditioning on. Brake low. Reverse. Yeah, we'll calculate with reverse off for now. So with autobrake low, we have a required of 2,222. Well, that's planned. So 15% on top of that is fine. So we can use autobrake low, absolutely no issue at all. Cool. So for the arrival, we're currently on the transition. Oops. So let's do the one Victor. So we're currently on course to... Where's Dordas? Right, there's Dordas. I don't see the restriction though, which is kind of weird. So, although it's Dordas 5,000 above, so that's not really a restriction for us. Although it's still missing it, strangely enough. Alpero, okay, disregard. Yeah, same all the way down to Delta November 439. So, Dordas, then 422, 423, 424, 425, 426, 427, 428, 429, 439, and then 437. And then Osnabrück for the final descent. Misapproach, goes straight ahead, Delta November 440, overfly, right turn back to Nürnberg VOR. and climbing 5,000. So that's all inserted. Cool. RatNav. Put in November Uniform Bravo. Oh, hang on. Look at that. So Bruno said, I thought I remembered that here in the Toliss. I'm not claiming it's correct, but you can deselect the glide slope here as well. Right, so now we have the ILS frequency for the localizer, but we've deselected the glide slope. So even if we press approach mode, we should get a warning then, a caution. But yeah, you can do that. Oh, one more thing. Let's do one more failure here. And I did say I want to do engine. Let's do 1 oil pressure. So apply now. And you'll see the oil pressure now slowly decrease. Alright, so it's quite a realistic simulation where if you have a leak somewhere, quantity going down, or you know, a leak somewhere, pressure for the pump going down, the pump slowly failing. Hey Scuba Steve, yeah, it is out. Typical Pratt & Whitney engines, lol. So, people ask me, is it true that you can get snow textures and orthos? Yes, you can. Yes, you can see here. So I'm pretty sure I have orthos installed. And it does have snow textures now on the ground. $93 miles? Yeah, that looks good. Cool. Let's reconnect our app again. And we did say engines and low oil pressure. Sync that up again. Hey Toma, hey Toma, nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. How are you doing? Yeah, doing very well. Thank you. I had a lovely holiday not long ago. Very cool. Let me restart that then. Airplay. Try that again. There we go. So, on the right-hand side, we have the app that we use for training. Private, not from the company. But you can see here now we're in the amber range of the oil pressure. And so what should happen is we should get a master warning, repetitive chime. And then that indication, engine 1, oil low pressure. Thrust lever 1 idle, engine master 1 off. There we go. So that's nothing too complicated. Something that I would expect Toliss to handle quite nicely. So confirm number 1. Or I would say confirm. And the pilot monitor would say number 1 confirmed. Idle and then engine master 1 off. Pilot monitoring puts a finger on that, confirm. I would say engine 1 confirmed. Off. And now, of course, let's do that the same here on the app. See what we have there. Good. So clear engine 1 low oil pressure. And then we have engine 1 shutdown. So, comparing the two procedures, it says engine 1 shutdown, engine mode selector ignition. So I'll do that on both sides here, ignition, ignition. And then it says if no fuel leak. Right, so we can check the fuel page, just make sure that we don't have a fuel leak itself. That looks nicely balanced. So no fuel leak, and then imbalance monitor, we'll do that. and TCAS TARA.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber
So I'm going to put this to
experience.
TA only.
Can new subscribers please make your way to the first class
The same
cabin,
here.
where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will
Then
be
we say
served.
engine 1 clear, engine 1 clear, and then we
Doing
get...
well, thanks. Smiley face.
Hey Thomas, thanks so much for the 32. Thank you very much, Thomas. You're also doing well. That's good to hear. Yeah, so the Toliss pop-out is this side, and the other side is the app that I use for ECAM procedures. So Phoenix and Microsoft the Toliss. Jose, I can't answer that for you. I use those two sims separately for different purposes. But if you want to concentrate on one, I don't know what you'll put your emphasis on. Is it textures, visuals? Is it for the correct system simulation, or is it for the real flight feel? So aerodynamics, right? These are all different things to consider, and so that's a tough question to answer. All right, let's continue with the procedure. We have a little bit of an issue here. So here on the Toliss, what I'm missing is what I have on the app with land ASAP and then air bleed, ELEC and hydraulic. That's missing here. In the Toliss. So what we normally do before we get into the status, we would call up these pages by pressing the clear key. And so we would first get the bleed. Let me just get that. So we would have bleed. And yeah, some differences in indications there compared to the real aircraft. But in essence, the valves are shut. There's no more bleed air coming into the pack system 1. And so pack system 1 is off. The next one would be so clear bleed ELEC. The ELEC page looks the same. So AC bus 1 is supplied by Gen 2. This would be a good point to start the APU actually. We're below... Well, we can just start the APU anyways, so that's fine. So then we clear the ELEC and we go to hydraulic. Now here is a difference. So in the app you have the PTU supplying the green system. I suspect the app CFM engine says that when you switch the engine off, you switch off that that engine-driven pump as well. Now I would have to go to my books to read up on that. I don't know that off by heart. But it's a small difference between the two. But there we go. So we do have hydraulic green available, either through windmilling or through the PTU. Good. And then we come to the status page, and the status, let's compare that. It says if performance permits cross-speed open. I mean that would be for the cross-speed start. We can disregard that. And then landing distance procedure apply. Now, it's interesting that it doesn't say that in the app. I would expect that, but well, so the difference there. Right, one pack only if wing anti-air is on. That's correct. Cat 3 single only. That's also correct. Because we're missing the engine-driven electric generator on 1. In-up systems, wing anti-eyes. Now that's not, well, yeah, it would be displayed, which is not completely true, but at the moment with the switching that we have, with the cross-speed closed, it's correct. Wing anti-eyes on the left side, so engine 1, or the left side would be unavailable. Engine 1 bleed, pack 1, Gen 1, and yeah, difference between Gen 1 pump, some minor difference. But yeah, overall, it's not bad. It's not bad. So for those that do, plan to do some failures from time to time, not too bad at all. Right, thrust idle percent. So we do a single engine approach, and here it's still showing quite a windmilling. High speed, yeah, why not? I mean, it could happen. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. Was it displayed while we had the APU off? Because now we have the APU on, and that means that we have galley power available again. So we can put put that off. Yeah, galley shed. So that now shows you. Yeah, it was displayed, right? And it will tell you then in the status. Well, it doesn't say it here. That's strange. Yeah, you would expect that here as well in the status. But there we go. Alright, it's that daytime or time of day where I don't like X-Plane very much because it has that kind of orangey glow to it, which I'm not really too fond of. Now, hopefully we'll get a shader program at some point where we can tweak that a little bit. But at the moment we're stuck with that, so... Good. Now, landing performance, we would normally do the failure, engine out, check the gradients for missed approach, make sure that we can... manage those. 5.2% it says. I mean, it is a Neo after all. I don't see any special requirements for missed approach gradient anywhere here, so that's fine. Yeah, so Amantha, it all depends on your flight warning computer standards. And the Neo obviously had the newest standards being installed, and then the older versions, so the aircraft with older flight warning computer standards would be upgraded from time to time. So we do have different flight warning computer standards on different aircraft, yes. So there will be some minor differences in the ECAM checklists. Yeah. Have I tried a new update? No. Bergen. I have not tried. Have they fixed these slopes then? But thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I did not know that. So let's go 4,000. QNH should be 1019. That is set. Orbit medium right now set. Minimum remains the same. Localize approach. Again, we do a localize approach. We'll fly that with a localizer flight path angle. Right, approach checklist. Barrel ref, QNH 1019 checked. Seatbelts on. Minimum barrel 1450. Outer brake medium. Engine mode selector no. Oh, actually, it's ignition start. Yeah, non-standard for engine out, ignition start. And that's the approach checklist complete. Activate the approach phase. Let's slow down here. Oh no, it's giving me an F glide slope because I've deselected the
Seasonal greetings
oh
and
my
thanks
God.
for the gifted sub.
J-Stap! Again! Oh my God. J-Stap, thank you so much. Oh, we should be 5,000 here actually. Alright, disregard. Got a bit distracted. Crispness, thank you so much, J-Stap. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Huge round of applause again. So all those that just been gifted, MCK, France, Venus, Mimone, and Airbus rules the world. Thank you so much. Say a big thank you to J-Stat for the gifted sub. Right, localizer armed. Let's go heading here. Lock blue. Status, nothing new, remove status. Yes, it does. So you can see slowing down. Let me just show you there. Yeah, you can see now the PTU is running. So Stormyfly, thanks for reminding. Indeed, so slowing down, then at some point the hydraulic pressure from the engine room pump will not be sufficient, and then the PTU kicks in. Yeah. And you get that message here as well. Oh!
2,000.
It was too far out. And now we've got to look at lock star. There we go. Ugh, right into the sun. Yuck. J-Step, once again, thank you so much for your support. Can't wait to try out the shared flight on Thursday. Just make sure that it's synchronizing or sequencing the flight plan, which it does. So we have the option to use the nav mode in missed approach. And look, Kashu, the reason why it overshot is it didn't have the localizer displayed. So we're too far out. We're 20 miles. That's an XP12 limitation at the moment, it seems. Giftswerk, we're doing a shared flight. So I'm doing a shared flight with Aviator, as well in the Challenger. And then we'll see what else comes up. It's better with Bergen, but still massive slope. Yeah, well, there's a slope, but the problem was the slope regarding the apron. Right, 4,000. Awesome. Let's go a little bit slower. Flaps 2, speeds checked. Flaps 2. Give me the PTU barking there. So our descent, let's go flight path angle. Our descent point with 3 degree down is at 9.3 from DI. Let's localize the DME. So we'll go 9.6. We'll start our descent. Let's go 155. Let's go 160. Right, 9.6. We're going to ignore the F glide slope. We can take that as a secondary indication, but we're going to go with the distance DME to the altitude cross-check. So 9 miles, 8 miles, 7, etc. So we'll cross-check these altitudes. Temperature is 9 degrees, so no need for any corrections. So I'm going to dial in -3 degrees on the flight path angle. And at 9.6, I'll pull on the vertical speed knob there. And 9.6, flight path angle. Missed approach, 5,000 is set. So we'll check DME distance.
2,500.
Yeah, let's go gear down. Flaps 3, speed is checked. Flaps 3. Oh, one more thing I want to do. Although not now, because we're a single engine. So actually, you know what? Let's do a config 3. Because we are a single engine. Landing distance is a short, no problem there. So, let's do 6 miles to 950, shall we? Actually, we could do 7 miles. So 7 miles, we should be at 3,270. So it's just slightly low. So I'm going to put in like -2.7, correct that. Spoilers arm. Landing checklist, Ikamimo. Landing no blue. Landing checklist completed. There's the runway. So we can check 6 miles at 2,950. So it's still just a tad low. But with the 2.7 degrees now, we should slowly come into the right path. 5 miles. Hey Paul, how you doing? 5 miles, 2,630. And then once we're visual with the power piece, we can go completely visual here. So let's try out some manual flying, shall we? Single engine. And the thrust, manual flight. So it's yawing, so I do have to use a little bit of rudder input. So up to now, it was auto trim, but now in manual flight, it only has short-term yaw compensation. So I have to do the rudder trimming or press the rudder pedals in case of thrust changes or speed changes. Now, single engine, you will need about 10% more, 8% more power on the remaining engine, so that seems correct. Now I can see 2 white, 2 red.
1,000.
1,000 is checked. Careful with the send rate. Trying to keep a 3-degree profile there with the flight path vector. So nicely on path. I still have a bit of time, so what we will do, we will try a go around. Single engine. I want to see how much rudder I have to input. So deliberately, I won't do any rudder input when I go to toga thrust or the other engine.
500.
And then we'll see how much I need. See if that's realistic or
100
not.
above.
Yes, I'm using X camera, AFAM.
400. Minimum.
Continue. So again, slightly high, correcting. So any thrust change does have an impact on the yaw moment. I can feel that, so I have to use a bit of rudder here. Right, let's go. Go around. No rudder input. Look at the nose. That's good. So I'm going to add right rudder. Flaps 2. So I'm trying to regain the center line here. Positive climb. Gear up. A bit more, so we can see the beta target here, the blue. So I'm actually now full right rudder, which is too much, it seems. I'm not really sure, because I had a feeling it wasn't enough. So there we go. Now we'll trim, obviously. So a bit more right rudder trim. Get the aircraft trimmed. Autopilot on. So now with the autopilot on, let's do heading select as well. We do expect an automatic trimming taking place. Now that's a bit much. 20 units. Normally I don't think I would expect to see that much. Right. So engine acceleration, it says at round about 2.5. So 2.5 will do the acceleration. Yeah, now you can see it's windmilling a lot slower because we're at slower speed, so that's good. That's a nice simulation there. Right, I should actually correct it a little bit there. So we don't have to do any action, ECAM actions. We've already secured the engine. It was a low oil pressure situation. Right, let's go vertical speed. So we're now going to accelerate, clean up the aircraft, and then we'll climb up to safe altitude at least 4,000. Yeah, 3.8 is the sector, so 4,000 is good enough. Flaps 1. Speed is checked. Flaps 1, 4,000 set. Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, the handling itself felt pretty realistic. So, you know, the pitch values, the amount of rudder I had to input. I don't think you would get into that 10-minute range here on a go-around. Flap 0 speed is checked. But yes, normally you would have to consider 10 minutes, AFIRM. So it would be a good idea to press the stopwatch, yeah. Good, so we're now at that speed. I'm going to go open climb and then lever MCT. So we got thrust MCT. And then once we reach 4,000, we'll go right turn again. So activate the approach phase again. Gonna go 230 knots. Do I feel a difference? To be honest, it's hard to tell, Peter. I think the differences would be so minuscule that if I said yes, I would feel it, I would be lying. What I do notice is some differences with the turbulence and the wind simulation. So when you have very strong wind, very strong crosswind, then I'll just put this to night. Let's say it's become dark. Just try that. I'm not a big fan of that dusk simulation there. No, I'm not really. I don't remember the last time I bought a game on Steam. So normally I would do that directly with the vendor somewhere, not Steam. Yeah, I think I had orthos installed, yes, for the region. Although, again, I have so many orthos installed, I sometimes forget which ones I have and which I don't. Right, while we're here, let me go and calibrate the joystick again, because and then that should be 65. So let's put that at 80 to 83. Right, now it should be correctly. Giftswerk, well done. Yeah, I have several hard drives that I use. I think the only issue really I have is that I'm using just normal hard drive and not an SDD or SSD. Sorry, SSD. And so sometimes I have a feeling when they're loading in, they're taking quite long. Yeah, Yaroslav, that's probably a good idea. Yeah. If you would imagine 10 is the most possible number to reach in the thought of the most realistic flight dynamic field for a desk, how much is this? Well, I've always said it, and I've said it with the A319 from Toliss already. I've always felt that when it comes to pure manual flight feeling, the Toliss in X-Plane 11 and now in X-Plane 12 is what I would consider most realistic. So in a sense of the most challenging as well, without being overdone. Yeah, so maybe I need to get another SDD and SSD and then get this transferred to the SD. Yeah. Yeah, guys, I'm glad nobody else has triggered me regarding pricing with the Tollis Neo 320. If you want to hear my opinion, go right to the beginning of the stream. You'll have me ranting about today's weird kind of feedback and weird kind of reaction from some people in the flight sim community. Not this one, but from other channels. That had me just shaking my head. Seriously, I was like, you know, what is going on? Hey, Noon. You have one question about procedures. Let's say NOTAM says VOR is in up for approach and it's the initial approach fix. Do you need to deselect it? Well, normally, if you have a well, let's put it this way. If you have a VOR or DME or VR DME set to inoperative in the NOTAMs, you will need to go to the select a navigate page and deselect that navigate so that you don't get wrong position updating from that navigate. That's the first thing. The second thing is you would need to check if the approach procedure requires that VOR station. And of course, if you're doing a VOR approach, or if you're doing an approach, an ILS approach, and it says VOR required, or here it says, for example, DME required, then yes, then you have to have it available. Otherwise, you can't fly this specific approach. And you would have to choose, let's say, an RF approach or something. You could try a... Okay, let me try that then. All right, so... so you want to see the logic is behind the engine-driven pump. What? The hydraulic engine-driven pump. Right, so that should be there. Do we have the APU available? So let's put APU bleed on. And then let me have a look. Let me put the cross bleed to shut. So that we just start up the left engine. Huh? Right, that doesn't make sense. I think, but there we go. All right, let's leave that in auto then. Cool. So, then let's start engine number 1. Oh, this we got. Hang on. The ignition start, and then you want to see the hydraulic. Yeah. Okay, good. There we go. Hydraulic page. Clear hydraulic. There we go.
2,500.
So I'm not sure how accurate that will be. So weirdly enough, yeah, it's already showing 3,000 psi. Even though I think that would be not correct. Yeah, I don't think that's correct.
2,500.
Right, let's go direct Osnup and start the approach. Right, that's the engine relit, so let's do that. So we've got nav.
2,500.
What's your favorite message? Error message. Oh, sorry. What's your favorite error message in the A320? What do you mean, with a failure or something? Yeah, Yoda, at least it didn't indicate that on the system display. I'm pretty sure that it had no...
2,500.
launch it up. An error message that makes me... That's a weird kind of question. Error message that makes me happy. Right, speed is managed.
2,500.
Actually, let's do a flap full landing. I just see the flight feel on that. So config full again, select it. Flaps 1, speed is checked. Flaps 1. One that makes you really happy. I'm kind of wondering about... I don't want to see any error messages. I don't think any error message would make me happy. You see what I mean? I mean... You could ask me which one are you most afraid of or something. Alright, flaps 2, speed check flaps 2. So 9.6 will start descend again. Here it comes, flight path angle, and then 5,000 missed approach set. Gears coming down. There's the runway. A fire is the most any kind of fire on board or in the cargo compartments is the scariest thing to have, Amantha. Is that a message? Really? Well, yeah, of course. I mean, anything with landing gear disagrees is you know, is spectacular. Yeah, for sure. So let's try 6 miles, 2950. And flaps full, speed is checked, flaps full. All the lights on. Let's do some manual flying here. Manual thrust, manual flight.
2000.
Right, cabin. Okay. So landing checklist, ECA memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Lol. Okay, JSTAP, I did not know that. That is funny as well, yeah. Put flight directors off here. So 5 miles, we should be at 5 miles, 2630. Yeah, just getting a tad low. Gotta correct that. Oh yeah, you can simulate that in the Toliss. Yeah, you have several fire stuff in here. You got smoke. So, for example, fire protection. Oh no, that's a protection. So you got engine fire. I know you can do that. I would need to check that after landing. See what we have available.
1000.
We're on a non-position approach, and we're just doing a localizer approach with flight path angle. And so once you go manual flight, you would normally go flight path vector. Yeah, because literally now we're doing a visual approach. That's what we're doing. So I can see 3 red, 1 white, so trying to correct that to 2 white, 2 red. So now we're on path. So now trying to get the normal values again. Three degree down.
100 above. 400.
Clear to land.
Minimum.
Welcome aboard the Captain
Chase
Black Box
that.
Duo
Thank you so
Channel
much.
Experience.
Another gifted
Could
sub.
new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight infotainment will be served. Thank you.
200.
So now I'm trying to keep that touchdown zone in the same spot in the window. Let's continue down
100.
here.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Come on. There we go. We have spoilers, reverse green, brake medium. And normally I would expect decel, but there we go. Flying pole, hello to you. Manual brakes. Auto brake is off. Oh, you can see that here as well. Auto brake off. And we'll take the next one to the left. Lol, that runway looks wet for some reason. Don't know why. Alright, we'll take this one here. Yeah, because the flight directors, they don't have any use anymore when you go visual. Because when you're flying manually, visually, you have to tell your pilot monitoring of any change. So as soon as the flight director do not make sense anymore, laterally, vertically, you have them switched off. That's just the way it's done. After landing checklist, radar predictor wind shear system is off. Hey Voyager, moin, wie geht's dir? Sorry. So regarding the abnormals that we did today, and I will do some more in future streams regarding the Toliss, especially once we do some shared flights here. I am planning to do a mission. I think Mark volunteered, where we do a failure on stream, and we use the Neo here. I'm doing well, Voyager. Just came back yesterday from holiday, 2 pounds heavier because of that good Italian food. You don't remember that? I think I have it in written form, Mark. I don't think it does it yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think so at the moment, no. Engine icing. Hey, Pineapple Wizard, how you doing? Yeah, it's a shame. Mark equals line of least resistance. No! No, it's... let's... Mark, you're one of my top picks for that. See, that's a compliment. Good sell. Lol. Right, APU is available. 2, 1. Oh, lovely, lovely. So fuel pumps off. Parking checklist. Parking brakes are chock. Parking brake is set. Engines off. Wing lights are off, and the fuel pumps off. Right. So the failures that we tried today were all pretty accurate. So some minor differences, yes. But all in all, I would say, I mean, if you're really nitty-picky about these things, then yeah, you could argue there's some things missing on the engine warning display or the status display. So yeah, sure. But for me personally, again, what I'm interested in doing is, or checking is, because in the end, what I'm looking forward to is doing these abnormals in the shared flight app. So when we do shared flights together, being able to insert a failure, and then just like in the Challenger 650, manage those failures in a shared flight environment. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Is having taxi lights on? Well, yes, you should have taxi lights on during taxi, so that you can see the taxi lines. I can tell you, in real life, it is sometimes extremely difficult to make out the taxi lines. So definitely the taxi light. The turn-off lights also very helpful to see entrances, runway entrances, or taxiway entrances. So yeah, I would definitely say that's required. Yeah, so if you look at the wing lights, so we're switching them on now, and then you go outside, you can see where they light up the airframe, right? So normally the wing lights are used on the ground to check engine inlet and the slat section for icing. It does have a special reason. Now, if you look at the way they are located, unfortunately, they're not simulated here. I mean, that is somewhat interesting. Oh, they are. Hang on. Here it is. Why is the other side not? What am I missing? So, it's weird. In this view, it's not on, but here's the wing light. So on the 321s, not the Neos, the normal ones, that wing light would be near the position, now I can see it, in the position of door 2 left. And so when you place a jetway with the cover at 2 left, which is allowed on the 321, there was an instance, a case where that fabric touched the very hot wing light, and that jetway caught fire, or that fabric caught fire. One case, it did catch fire, and that was one case, and that prompted Airbus to put that into the checklist. Now, I've read some comments. From some very knowledgeable people, you know, trainers, etc., that just do not understand why, you know, having one case where jetway caught fire, one case, to have that justified being put into a checklist. But Airbus seems to think differently, so, I mean, they're the ones determining which checklist they put out and what's in the checklist, so yeah. Now, I've also put forward a little bit of feedback. So the cooling timer, remember that was switched off the engine about, what, 5 minutes ago? And it started out at 2 minutes cooling time. So my opinion, that goes down too quickly. Brakes hot, yeah. So that goes down too quickly because, like from real-world experience, about an hour transit time, this is about 1 minute to 1 minute 20, depending on, you know, outside temperatures, etc. But that will be a normal indication after 1 hour for cooling requirement. Is it possible to do Boeing procedure on the Airbus, and how it would look like? Flying Paul, I mean, in some regards, you know, regarding flaps and gear, maybe, but otherwise, I don't know. I think these procedures are definitely aircraft specific, and I don't really think it would be a good idea to mix those. So, i.e., to put you know, Boeing procedures on Airbus and vice versa. So, cool. Right, get rid of that. Nice. One plus side I would also put on the Toliss here is the option regarding autosave. So, well, of course, the first thing obviously is have a very stable simulation. But if anything goes wrong, and for some reason you have crashed the desktop, that autosave feature here, which you can change the time interval on regarding the saves, that is really, really good. Alessandro, good evening. So that is definitely a good thing for the Toliss. Yeah, exactly, Yoda. Exactly. Cool. Thank you so much. Again, big thank you to JSnap for the 6 gifted subs today. Thank you so much for that, JSnap. Thank you for all the resubs. And if you like, in about 25 minutes, we'll be back with the second flight. And we're going down under. Fly together with our good friend Continuum. I'm sure you all know him, Twitch streamer. Lovely gentleman. And yeah, about 25 minutes, yeah. And coffee break, exactly. And then we get things set up behind the scenes here. That's why. I don't want to bore you with that that setup. Right, my dear moderators, thank you. Sleep risk, yeah, that's true. Thank you so much for looking over everything, and thank you for watching. Pleasure, happy to stream for you guys, and I'll see you, if you like, in a few minutes. And here comes, as always, now the outro. There will be a new outro from Senshai soon. But for now, we'll use the previous one. I mean, I've been away for a week, so it shouldn't be that difficult or that problematic. So, let's do credits. And then see you in a few minutes. Good night.